my name is Francheska Nichole. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you're looking at the title, you know that this is a nursing video. I'm gonna talk to you guys about my how long have I been a nurse? 2 years and some change I've been a nurse. I have been a nurse for a little over 2 years, and I have switched jobs so much. I'm gonna start from the beginning. My first nursing job started out in a nursing facility, like a long-term type of nursing facility. They did have rehab there, but I worked on the long-term unit. It was a good place to work. I liked it. It was good experience. I worked there for maybe 6 months, I believe. Yeah, 6 months. I just got tired of that place, I guess. But it's kind of my fault because I think I just burnt myself out. I'm one of those workers, like I would work my butt off, like working doubles. That's just what I like to do. You know, like you see your check and it look nice, and then you start thinking, well, I could work a little bit more, make a little bit extra money, and then before you know it, you're working like 5 doubles a week. So I burnt myself out. I started to hate that job, so I left. I applied at the prison where I lived, and I worked there. I worked there for like a month, maybe 2 months. I don't really remember. I think it was a month, maybe 2. I don't know. But yeah, I liked working at the prison. I'm gonna see how I can say this. It's a completely different world when you come from a nursing home to a prison. It's 2 completely different ball games. Like it's not the same type of nursing, I'm gonna say that. So I started, and I remember when I started, you know, there's different areas that you can work in, and I asked initially, like, hey, where am I going to be working? Because you think I have to know that to know where I'm going to get most of my training at, whatever. Of course, I wanted to be trained in every area just in case I had to move around or fill in or do whatever. Of course, I wanted to know, but I wanted to be trained the most where I was going to be working. That only makes sense, right? Okay, so I started working, and I worked in one area for a long time, and then they put me in another area for a long time, and I got my training in areas that I wasn't going to be working in the most, and that was kind of a problem for me. So when it got close to being time for me to go out on my own, I did not feel comfortable. I'm one of those people, like I have to be confident in the fact that I could do my job, because I don't like nobody complaining on me. Oh, you didn't do this right, this wasn't done. Like I want to know what I'm supposed to do, like, and I had no clue. Like I had a clue, but it just wasn't, I don't think I was trained in the area that I should have been trained in the most. So it was a no for me. I actually I'm not one of those people. I don't leave jobs like on a bad note. Like I want to be able to come back if I need to. Like I'm gonna put my 2 weeks notice in, or I'm gonna go PRN, or like I'm gonna do whatever I have to do. So if I ever have to come back, because you never know, you might have to go back to that job, and I want to be able to do that. At the prison, I did not do that. I literally y'all, my eyelash, what's going on? This one like this, and this one like this. See, whatever, y'all just ignore the lash, okay? I might just rip it off, I don't know. But what was I talking about? Oh, I just left. I remember that day like it was yesterday. I had the worst day that I had ever had. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong. I was sent to an area to work. I was in the midst of training. I finally got to get training in the area that I was going to be working. And then they told me that I had to go to another area on my own to work because nobody was there. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, when I go over there, what am I gonna do? Where do I start? I was lost, but I couldn't say no, I'm not gonna go. I'm not that type of person. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure it out. I asked the other ladies, like, hey, when I get over there, what I gotta do? I have my little notepad. Like, okay. So when I got over there, I started to do I was so nervous because I was already unprepared, and then I'm just thrown into a situation that I had no clue what I was doing. But I got over there. It was going smooth at first. I had to pass some meds, and that's when everything went left. And this is another thing, like working at the prison. When you come from the nursing home world, you're trained to take care of them, which, I mean, you take care of them at the prison as well, but it's like it's different. It's so different because they try to get over on you sometimes. So me being a new face, they might be saying, okay, I'm gonna act like this is wrong today just because she's a new face. She's gonna believe me. She seems sweet and nice, you know. But I'm that person where I don't want to say, oh, that's not what's wrong with you, and then you end up dying and then it's on me. Like, I just can't do that. So all I know is I had a pen in my pocket as I'm passing my meds. We going from door to door, and it's like every door I got to, someone was saying something was wrong. Or, okay, say I'm giving them some Depakote, 500 milligrams. They'll tell me, oh no, I'm supposed to get 1,000. The other lady gives me 1,000, but I'm only going by the paper mar that they had in the office. Being that that nurse has been here forever, she may have memorized this, and maybe she just didn't update the MAR, and that he really does get 1,000 milligrams. And I'm like, okay, well, heck, I gotta finish what I'm doing, and I can go back, I can check it out, and then if you get that, I guess I could break it back, whatever. But I'm like, okay, what's your name? And I literally got my hand, I don't have no paper, I got a pen, and I'm writing name, whatever the issue is on my hand. Get to the next door, same thing. Next, like, it was just like, in the beginning it was okay. I'm like, I can go handle this situation. But before I could get done, I'm like, oh my God, like, there's a trillion things that y'all, I was just ready to go. I was ready to walk out. I was so ready to just walk out, but I was like, no, I'm not that type of person. I'm not gonna do that. So I continue. Get to another door. Someone's saying that they're about to have a seizure. They were about to. So me, I'm like, oh God, here comes something else. By the time I could get out back to the office area, they were telling me someone's coming in saying that they were going to commit suicide. Something that I had never dealt with. All I know is you have to fill out a lot of paperwork that I had never filled out. So I'm calling back to the other area for some of the nurses to help me. I'm like, hey, it's a trillion things wrong. Somebody said they're about to have a seizure. This person said they're going to commit suicide. 10 trillion people say their medication doses ain't right. I need some help. Finally, somebody came to help me. She started on the paperwork for the person claiming they were going to commit suicide, and I'm trying to learn because, like, I'm gonna have to do this by myself, so I'm trying to watch her. At the same time, here comes the officer saying, oh, the guy that said he was about to have a seizure, he's actually having a seizure right now. Drop everything, run in there, get him back over to, I can't even think, out to triage. That nurse started to take care of that situation. I came back. And then not even that, I had a whole nother area that I had to go pass meds to as well. in the midst of all of this. So I'm like, okay, she handled this situation is handled. I got the whole list. I wrote it down on a piece of paper that I'm gonna check on, but let me go give these people their medicine, because mind you, I didn't even start working until it was almost lunchtime when I started. So I get over there, oh, I'm supposed to be on this antibiotic and I haven't received it yet. So here I go with my hand again, writing little notes. Finally get back. All I know is I had already made up in my mind when I got to my car, because you know at the prison you can't have your cell phone. As soon as I got to that car, I was getting my phone, calling my husband to tell him, this is a wrap, I'm done, I'm not coming back, this is it for me. And I never do that, but I just felt like as a nurse, like, you want to go, I always go home feeling like I've given it my best, I've done everything that I'm supposed to do, and I'm confident in what I'm doing. Like, I know, like when I was in a nursing home, yeah, stuff went bad all the time. Like, people fall, people have heart attacks, I've had colds, I've had so many things happen, but I was confident in the fact that I could do what I was supposed to do for that patient. And at the prison, I was clueless, because it's a completely different world. It was not it for me. Like, maybe if I went to another prison and I had someone to sit me down and be like, okay, this is your job, this is what you're going to be doing, and give me some training in that area. Of course I want to learn the other areas, but it doesn't matter if I'm not going to be working there. Why am I getting a whole 3 weeks in pharmacy if I'm going to be working in triage? Makes no sense. Anyway, so I left that day, and I'm trying to figure out, I think I sent my DON or my administrator, one of them, I sent them an email like, hey, I ain't coming back. I guess they didn't get my email. So they called me the next morning like, hey, where you at? And I'm like, well, I emailed you my recognition. I'm sorry, I cannot come back. I just cannot do it. Can't do it. So that was that. My next job, I started working with agency, which I did agency as a CNA, so I was familiar with how that worked. But just this was a different agency. I still work for them. I don't pick up shifts for them, but I'm currently still employed with them, I guess you could say. That was not really a good situation either. Because if you know agency, you know that, okay, most agencies, they post their shifts on a little app or something, and you pick it up, boom, you get a confirmation saying that, yes, you got the shift, you go work. Cool. If you get there and say they overstaffed or something happened where they don't need you anymore, you still get paid 4 hours for that shift, and you just go home. Or if you leave in enough time, you could pick up a shift somewhere else and go work, so you don't miss your money. This agency was different from the ones I was used to. It's like you had to fight for shifts. The only way you can get a shift is if you sat there with your phone in your hand like this. When they drop it, swipe, take, like swipe, like you gotta be fast. Like, and we had a little chat in the app as well. Oh, the girls were mad because I found me a little trick to where it would send it to me in a text message, so I don't have to open up my phone, go into the app, take the shift. I could just swipe, take, boom, and be done with it. So it was just a mess. It's like I hated fighting for shifts. And then most of the time, like the facilities that they were sending us to, like we get there and they be like, oh, well, we don't need you. Of course you get 4 hours, but I didn't sign up for 4 hours. I signed up for 8 or 16 or whatever I wanted to work that day. So I was like, that's not gonna work for me. So I left. Well, I didn't leave. Like I said, I'm still employed with them. I just stopped picking up shifts, and then I started working at another nursing home. Online it said that they were hiring for a day shift. I'm a day shift worker. I don't do night shift. I don't like night shift. I'm not a night person. Like I said, but they posted the whatever on Indeed or whatever, and it said for day shift. So I applied. I got the interview, and during the interview process, she was like, well, we don't have day shift available yet. All we have is night shift, but you can start there and then eventually you'll get your day shift. And at first I was like, but I'm like, I need a job. So, and it was close to home, like literally like 5 minutes from my house. So I was like, okay, I'll go work there, do my little night shift, and in no time I'll be back to day shift. No. And I was doing, it was a nursing home, but I was on the rehab side this time versus long-term. Rehab is basically like, say you go get surgery at the hospital, you just have to go to the nursing home just for rehab, basically, to do physical therapy or whatever. So basically the ones that are coming straight from the hospital, they come to rehab. So I worked there night shift for a couple months, and I was just over it. I was over it. So I started back doing that agency job, that same agency that I was doing prior to. I started back picking up shifts with them. I quit that place. I was done. But then I found another agency I had heard about, and they had a whole lot of facilities, and they had, like, it was a good agency. Like, you were gonna get your work, like you was gonna get some shifts. So I started working with them, and yeah, I fell in love because I started going to a certain, see, this is the thing with agency, you have to get your foot into the door with some of these facilities. If you're a good nurse, you're on time, you know, you don't cancel your shifts, they like you, then you can go straight to the scheduler and schedule your days like that. So I would get a whole calendar, and I would fill out my whole calendar for the month and give it to her, and boom, she would confirm my days right there, and I would have all my days, no issues at all. Every now and then, like when I first started going to this particular facility, I would get canceled every now and then, but it wasn't like the other agency that I worked for. And then being that it was an hour from my house, I only did doubles, because I'm not driving an hour there to work 8 hours when I could just do 2 shifts in one, work less days, and be out of the way. So I was doing that. And then also with this same agency, when COVID started, they had a testing site for COVID as well, and I did that for a little while, which I loved, because if you work on the floor in a nursing home or anywhere, you know that is tiresome, it's stressful. So to get a break and just do COVID testing, that's a blessing. But those shifts, like, everybody was trying to be at the COVID sites, so I got tired of fighting to get there. So I started going back to that facility, and then somewhere in between there, I started, I took a travel, when did I do that? With another staffing agency, I took a travel assignment to do COVID testing. I liked it. It was a little unorganized, because me and one other nurse, when we got there, it's like they didn't even know we were coming. They didn't know why we were there. It's like they was scrambling around trying to figure out what they were gonna do with us. So they only had COVID testing on, like, I think like 2 days a week, and we would go to like the little surrounding counties close to them, and we would set up our little tents, and it'd be like a little drive-through. That was cool. And then on the other days, we were doing like contact tracing. Now that I did not like. I'm not the one to sit there on the telephone. I thought it was gonna be fun, but then when you get that caller that's cursing you out because they're not staying home just because they've come in contact with somebody who has COVID, because they got kids to feed, they got bills to pay, and they cursing you out, and that was not for me. It was okay when you get the caller that's like, okay, I understand, I'll call my job and let them know that I came in contact with someone and I just can't work, da 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 da. Everybody wasn't like that. Majority of them were not like that. they cursed you out. This one lady kept asking me, well, how do you know how I'm gonna feed my kids? I'm like, no, I don't. But I mean, I don't, it was not for me. But all in all, that assignment was okay. And after that, I still did my agency. That was my agency, is my go-to. I love agency. That's just, I don't think, I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna get a full-time job, because it's considered PRN because you're as needed, but you can work as many hours as you want to. One time I worked like 2 weeks straight, all doubles, because I'm greedy and I was trying to do something. So I was like, I'm finna get all this money, because these places are so short staffed, so you can work as much or as little as you want to. Make your own schedule. Most of the time I do like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday doubles, and then I'm off every single weekend. So I love it. But in the midst of that, I signed on with another agency and I started doing COVID vaccinations. With this agency, you had to kind of travel. Say you went to this particular city. Okay, it's a whole state site, but they had different counties. You can sign up to go to Orange County, Duval County, Putnam County. It was your choice. But once you got two, okay, you would meet at like a rally point, and then from there they will tell you, okay, well, this is where you have to go. Some days you have to go to one place, some days you have to go to 2, 3, it just depends, and just vaccinate. That was pretty easy, but that was kind of up in the air too, because some days you get there and you work your whole 8, 12, whatever, 10 hours, and that was fine. But then some days you get there and you have one ALF to go to. So we went to some ALFs and they had like 3 people there to be vaccinated. Do you know, we were done, like we had 3-hour days. Y'all, this lash is about to drive me crazy. This is not it. So that really wasn't worth my time per se. So still continue to do my other agency job, and then I took a travel assignment to Illinois. It's where I'm currently at. We are doing COVID vaccinations here as well. So that's pretty much it. And when I get done with this, I have until May. I'm going to go back to my agency job, and then I want to take another travel assignment, but I want to give myself a break in between. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Stay tuned for more videos. If you have any questions or anything, leave them at the bottom. I will be more than happy to answer them. And you guys have a wonderful day.